what I like to think is when I hear people talk, they talk about UV or LED UV and they say, okay, you're not gonna have spray powder and everything's gonna be dry and your power's gonna be lower, and that's all great. And to me, that's actually all the hooey. The good stuff is what I'll tell you about in my experience here in a minute. But so the real benefits, rather than what you hear about, what they tell you about spray powder and all that fun stuff. But from my perspective, being an owner and watching the production, the things that we saw were immediate. Your pressmen become better because they're worrying about a whole heck of a lot less. Your pressmen don't have to worry about offsetting. They don't have to worry about having the sheet deliver well. They don't have to worry about the back of the sheet when they're running the other side. So your pressmen are more relaxed. We had an instance where, and this was another reason why I was actually happy that we went hybrid, but about a month ago, the fan on our chiller went out on LED, and they called me at about midnight and said, our fan went down. I said, well, switch back to conventional, and we'll worry about it tomorrow. So we ended up running the rest of the night, came in, and the look on our pressmen, you thought that we saw it off their arm. When we said we got to run conventional inks, they're like, no way. So they went out and bought like 2 huge fans and put them on the chiller so they could go back to LED until we got the new fan in for the chiller, because they did not want to go back to run conventional. I mean, pressmen don't like running. I mean, it's wet ink and they pulled the sheet and it's curling. He's like, we can't even do this anymore. So it really made a huge difference. One other thing, I was talking to a pressman a month or two ago, and I said to myself, I never ever see hickeys when we're running jobs anymore. I never see them. And granted, we got a new press and it had the dampening system that's dragging the hickeys off the plates. And he's like, yeah, that's true. He goes, but the other thing is, he goes, since the ink never dries, if you ever look at some of your older equipment, if you go look in the journals and on the side frames, there's dried up ink and there's crap. And he's like, it eventually falls into the ink train, and all of a sudden you get big hickeys. He goes, we don't have that problem anymore. Since your ink's not drying in the fountain, your fountain's never getting dried ink in it and having it break apart and drop into your ink train at all. Those were, really a lot of the true testaments, I think, to LED. And I think.